running, stopping, aiming, firing, and reloading. This is the typical gameplay loop for the standard 2010s multiplayer first-person shooter. Tried and true, and maybe more than a little dusty at this point. Along comes Overwatch, sporting all the stylish charms of an at-launch Team Fortress 2 with a diverse mechanics pool of Dota-like games, granting each character a moveset of cooldown-based abilities with one ultimate ability. This may be where a lot of people say that the Dota or League of Legends comparisons end, champions with abilities, but I beg to differ. In fact, I think that the biggest thing Overwatch shares with the PC-dominating MOBA genre is something entirely more fundamental. Today we're going to be looking at Overwatch's use of mobility and positioning to turn an FPS into something magical. My name is Sunder, and you're watching Levelhead, a series on video game design. Overwatch is a class-based, multiplayer, objective-focused, first-person shooter by Blizzard Entertainment. Rather than the main goal being to aim the shooty gun at the bad guy, that's only a secondary objective to help the team in capturing points or pushing carts to set locations. There's an incredibly diverse cast of 21 characters that all play radically different from each other. This provides around 8.5 million different permutations to a single team's composition, which obviously has a drastic effect on how each match plays out. And players are encouraged to switch characters in the middle of matches to fill roles that may fit their team a little better. Let's just quickly run through the 4 class designations. There's a lot here, so try to keep up while I do my best to show why each of these characters are looped into their specific class. Starting off is the heavy hitters, the front line, the offense characters. These are Genji, McCree, Pharah, Soldier 76, Reaper, and Tracer. These characters obviously have high damage output when played to their full potential, and all of their ultimates are play of the game earning moves that can kill several of the enemy team in a short amount of time. More on my point though, all of these characters have self-moving abilities that augment their offensive power. Their place is on the front line, dealing damage, and their abilities help them do this. They're the go-getters, and being near one is often a scary experience. Next is defense, the strategists that hold down the line from being pushed back or remove high importance threats from the equation. These are Bastion, Hanzo, Widowmaker, Torbjorn, Mei, and my boy Junkrat. They can deal as much damage as offensive characters, sometimes even more, but being in the right spot is crucial to take advantage of this. Their ultimates are often big area of effect moves that deal a lot of damage or change the pace of the battle. These characters shine by zoning opponents or forcing them to take alternate routes, slowing them down, forcing their attention to specific places, or picking them off if they don't pay attention to those places. Moving on is the tanks, the bullet sponges and leaders of the charge, focused on being too much of a threat to ignore, but too healthy to drop. These are D.Va, Reinhardt, Winston, Roadhog, and Zarya. Their damage is always reliant on being up close. They take up screen space and thus can body block damage from nearby allies. They typically come equipped with a major crowd control ability, and their ultimates are pivotal whirlwinds of crowd control that can turn the tide of a fight into a team kill. Finally, the supports, characters whose job is to allow teammates to do their job better or hinder opponents from doing theirs. These are Lucio, Mercy, Symmetra, and Zenyatta. They provide teammates with better movement through speed or teleportation, healing to keep them in battle longer, or damage buffs to take down enemies more quickly. Their ultimates see nearby allies with massive shields, healing, or revival from death. They are most effective near a group of teammates, but this also puts them under fire. And with their low health bars, they have to stay close while also avoiding the watchful crosshairs of the enemy team. Of course, anybody that's played enough Overwatch can tell you much of the same about these characters. But for anybody uninitiated, this information is crucial to understanding why Overwatch's focus on mobility is so effective. Even the only 2 characters that lack any single ability that directly affects their own movement or the movement of other heroes, that being Torbjorn and Zenyatta, are still crafted into 2 unique playstyles that revolve around good positioning to realize their full potential in combat. One requiring line of sight to make full use of heals and debuffs, and the other requiring careful turret placement and also battlefield presence to run over corpses and hoard scrap to armor up his teammates. This is where Overwatch shines. Characters draw strength from each other, their abilities synergize and their playstyles play off each other. Pharah is a huge target when ulting, but Mercy's flight and float abilities can get her up in the air and keep Pharah alive for a full rocket barrage. Zenyatta can deal a lot of damage with his Discord Orb debuff, but snaps like a twig, so a Reinhardt shielding him can use his Harmony Orb to stay alive, while giving him the opportunity to shred through the enemy team. I could spend hours talking about the amazing combinations that play off of each other, or even counters such as Genji's Reflect allowing him to turn a turret Bastion into a pile of scrap, or Lucio's Sound Barrier used at just the right time to shield everybody through a Junkrat Riptire. Each character has a skill ceiling to be aimed for, and learning what works and what doesn't can net the player a victory even in duels that aren't necessarily in their favor. Highly practiced players can manage to weave in and out of skewed odds and manage to come out on top with an impressive play of the game. 2 skilled players dueling one-on-one turns into a graceful ballet of mechanics. All the potential that stems from this leads to team compositions, encouraged by the game a little bit, of course. Do we need 2 Winstons? Maybe McCree isn't the best choice for this map, but we can't sacrifice too much damage, so try Pharah instead. How about 6 Bastions? Team composition discussion leads to balancing kill power versus objective power. Sure, Widowmaker can get those kills from the back line, but maybe we should opt for somebody who will be pushing the payload with us. We have some strong defense, but no healer. Can somebody switch to Lucio or Mercy? Stuff along those lines. And in the end, discussions and planning aside, execution is what makes these teams win and lose. It all comes down to mobility and positioning. A perfect team comp that walks out the gate holding W plus mouse button 1 is going to get steamrolled. But a team that uses the fun and highly accessible movement options from whichever characters they use is going to fight their battles hard and end up with more than a few wins under their belt. It would be fair to say that positioning is important in pretty much every multiplayer shooter, and maybe even mobility as well. But Overwatch places much more gravitas on these concepts than other games, in turn making the game a parkour-fueled anime fight of a shooter instead of a cop movie shootout with everyone ducking behind waist-high cover. Importance is placed on movement through every single aspect of the game. The level design dictates how each of the 21 heroes can move throughout the map, granting advantages and disadvantages based on the paths chosen or mechanics taken advantage of. Furthermore, each and every single character or class is rooted in unique abilities that directly affect how they move, and thus how they play. I stated before that this focus on movement is what defines Overwatch's relationship with MOBAs. Ask seasoned players of League of Legends, Dota 2, and the rest, and they'll tell you that knowing your character's mechanics is a good start, but you're not going to get good at the game until you can nail down positioning. One small slip up 1 second out of position and your entire team can come undone. Overwatch takes this concept and dials it into the appropriate speed for an FPS that everybody can pick up and enjoy. Overwatch builds itself into an exciting and fast-paced shooter that sets itself far apart from the stale competition of the past 5 or so years. This is without paying any mention to the wonderful character designs, the bright colors and cheery art style, and the general expected level of Blizzard polish. If you've been wondering why social media has been exploding with Overwatch praise for months now, the answer is simple. It moves us. If you enjoy the show and want to support, consider sharing it with someone else who might like it. This series is made possible by my Patreon supporters. You can see their names on screen right now. Big thanks to you guys. If you want to join them and make future game footage look a little better than I managed for this episode, click the link to head to patreon.com/Sunder. Thanks for watching.